Let's move straight to our next conversation. In the realm of business, proactive conflict management can save time, resources, and relationships. In line with this, Dangote Refinery has acknowledged initiating legal action against the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, RANO Oil, and 5 others over import licenses granted them by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NNPCL. However, Dangote has also expressed a willingness to settle the matter amicably, suggesting that the circumstances surrounding the issue have evolved significantly since the lawsuit was filed. All right, yet again, I'll start with you, BKO, on this matter. Let's talk about the veracity of the new development, because some would say that, well, the parties involved, they've resolved their differences, and but do you think there are other dimensions to this matter beyond the clarification given by the Dangote Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Tony Chejina? Is there something else we need to know?
I don't know about people resolving their differences. I don't know at all. Some of the people mentioned, some of the entities mentioned in this story did not even know that a case had been filed against them.
Oh, really?
It came as a shock. It came as a shock to them. This thing was kept under wraps since September 6, when the matter was filed. We didn't read it in any newspaper. The people concerned were not aware. NNPC, for example, was shocked to discover that a case had been filed against it. No Nigerian newspaper got the information until I think Nairametrics decided, got it and then leaked it to Nigerians. It's a good decision that Dangote has taken to settle the matter out of court, or withdraw the matter. If you are not interested in sustaining a matter, why would you allow it to go on in court? Because as we speak, the matter is yet to be withdrawn from court. They have made a promise that they will withdraw the matter from court. That's where we stand. Yes, you can say that, it's an issue that is still, but Nigerians did not know about it. Still, but it had not been withdrawn from court, except if it was withdrawn today. So the response of the Dangote authorities to the thing was not to deny, because they couldn't deny, but they said, we will withdraw this matter out of court because the issue is already overflowed. Let me say without equivocation that most petroleum producing countries, most crude oil producing countries import. Saudi Arabia in 2022 alone imported crude oil valued at $650 million, $650 million from Nigeria, $650 million from Nigeria, and 712 from United Arab Emirates. So Saudi Arabia are the market leaders in terms of refining across the world. Refining for export, they are the market leaders, but they still import. They import crude oil from Nigeria to blend their own crude oil, which is not as clean as our own, and then sell. So it is not entirely a terrible thing to import petroleum products from abroad. If you want to achieve energy security, is one of the things that countries do. There is no country that is sensible that will want to rely solely on one refinery. As it is now, since successive governments have not been responsible enough to get our refineries working, we now rely on Dangote Refinery. But it's an extremely dangerous thing to rely on one refinery. What if there's a problem with that refinery, or there's an urgent need for a turnaround? What are we going to do? Those who are emotionally looking at this matter and saying, if Dangote can give us sufficient petrol, why should we import from abroad?
Yes, some people have said that with that one.
That is taking undue risk. And no country takes such a risk. There is something called energy security. You cannot promote energy security, you cannot promote it when there is monopoly. It will not happen. And Dangote also it did the right thing by withdrawing this matter, because I have not seen where a court would say, oh, there has to be monopoly, therefore all of you cannot import. How about sufficiency for us? The NNPC, as we speak today, the NNPC, between September 15 and October 20, the NNPC expects that Dangote will have delivered 1.5 billion liters. It has delivered 317 million liters. So, because they are supposed to deliver 25 million liters a day, that has not been achieved. I'm giving facts and figures.
But
that has not been achieved. 1.5 billion liters. Okay. NNPC has received just 317 million liters. Is that not a big shortfall? So if we do not import to augment what is produced at home currently, we are going to have scarcity. We are going to have scarcity. Somebody should answer the question. If you are supposed to deliver 1.5 billion liters between September 15 and October 20, and you have delivered only 317 million liters, what do we call that? That's a shortfall that we must find a way to deal with somewhere. We can't be emotional about every issue. No, we have to tell ourselves the truth.
But BKO,
let the truth and let the devil be ashamed.
BKO, let me come to you on that, what you just said, because there was a report, what you're talking about, it was on the pages of the Nation newspaper, saying that Dangote has been able to meet just 26% of the 1.065. But some have argued that does NNPC have the financial?
That's about 30%.
Yeah, but they said that does NNPC have the financial backing to lift petrol, the product from Dangote, saying that it's not about the shortfall, it's because NNPC does not have the financial backing? What do you have to say to that?
I'm talking about what they have delivered. I'm not interested in petty arguments. I'm talking about what has been delivered to the NNPC. Okay, Nigerian marketers are saying, let us also be part of this. And the government has said, okay, marketers, go and buy directly from NNPC, from Dangote. We don't want NNPC to be the sole off-taker. What has happened? Are the marketers able to buy as we speak? You can ask marketers whether they've been permitted to buy. You can't have a situation in which you prefer to sell only to the NNPC. Sell to the marketers.
Okay.
If you produce and what you are producing is less in price to what is imported.
Okay.
What is the fear about? Let them bring product from abroad. They are the ones who will suffer now. Because we expect that what is brought from abroad will be more expensive than what is produced locally. That was why we were all excited. But if you are worried that some people want to bring in product, then it means that you probably want to sell product higher than the cost of imported one. Because you can deal with them by selling at a price lower than the imported version.
Okay.
And that will take them out of business. It's just a logical thing. If your own produce locally is cheaper than what they are bringing from abroad, who will buy now? You chase them out of business. You run them out of town. That's what I expect Dangote to do, not to be trying to sue the NNPC and this and that. No, there is no basis for that. If Saudi Arabia can buy $560 million worth of crude oil from Nigeria, they produce too now. But they are still importing from Nigeria and importing from UAE.
Okay.
And that's the market leader. If the market leader, even America continues to import as we speak. So it's not even a strange thing to say that, okay, people are importing. It's not a strange thing. The big oil producing countries of the world import.
All right. Even though some have argued, looking at this matter, and said, oh, it maybe probably goes against the PIA. But let's look at it. They've said they've resolved it, they will withdraw it and all of it. But one will be forced to ask, what is the essence of this court case? Does it show that there was a lack of faith in government in this matter? What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think we are aware that Dangote sued for 100 billion damages. And the case started in June, even though, just like you said, I think the first one to court in filed those papers in June. Unless we see the case documents, yeah, we will not be able to be too sure exactly of what they were asking for. But I think as at that time in June, I think Dangote was facing a lot of challenges.
Yeah, the back and forth.
Back and forth. They didn't want to sell crude to him. Some people were saying that his diesel had too much sulfur that they had to bring in as of rep and all. So probably, I'm not trying to think for him, but probably he had decided to go to court because he felt there were conscious attempts to sabotage him. But beyond that, I think there's a major problem which Babajide has raised, and that is the evil of capitalist monopoly. In a capitalist economy, the caution should be to liberalize, the economy. We should have as many importers as possible. We should have as many refineries as possible. That is actually what can crash the price. The US has about 132 refineries. Egypt has 12. Japan has 22, even though Japan hasn't got much crude oil. It produces about 123,000 barrels per day. India, that has one of the biggest refineries in the world, still has India has about 23 refineries, even though it has one that produces about 1.4 million barrels per day. So this idea of putting all our hope in one refinery, I think it's a major problem. And I believe that for the future of oil, and management of oil and distribution of oil resources, we need to get more refineries. Now, I think they gave license to about 25 modular refineries. Only 5 of them are, functional in a very little. So we cannot put the hope, the strategic oil industry on why is it that the Southwest states, for instance, cannot think of having a refinery in Ondo State?
That's another one.
Or maybe the Niger Delta people have one in Bayelsa. I think the more the merrier. So I submit that we should have more refineries, and even if people want to import, they should be allowed to import refined products. So at the end of the day, Nigerians will have the options of choosing between different oil.
All right. BKO talked about the issue of the shortfall, and that report was on the pages of the Nation newspaper. Now, looking at that, what is the way forward?
I wanted to say this, and I will but say it, and to say that God bless BKO, and by extension, God bless Mr. Adewale, because I was just going to wait for this angle to be buttressed. And that's the fact that that case was shocking to many of us. In fact, yesterday, talking about the business of newsroom, even the business editor was saying this must be fake news. It's not possible. Now they've admitted that they sued. This NNPC. I think for whatever reasons, I think Adewale has done justice by giving possible reasons why they did that. But the president has stepped in. The president has come out to say, sell crude to this guy in Naira. And so, like they have said, event has overtaken it. But when we need to scold Dangote Refinery, we need to do that. Sure. And I think that's what BKO has done. Capitalism, monopoly will not work. It will not work. People have been doing this business before now. Okay. And so you can bamboozle people on social media and tell them that, oh, you have the capacity to feed everybody. We cannot depend on one person. We cannot depend on one company. We need to allow the market to speak. I mean, to drive the flow. So that's the way forward. For the way forward is, like you said, we are not even sure this case has been withdrawn. It has to be withdrawn if we need to advise him. Let it be withdrawn clearly. If you don't even trust government, but I think it's a lost case. I'm not in the position to determine what will come out of the case. But forget it that you will stop others from importing. It's not going to happen. That they should withdraw their license is not going to happen. Where is it done? Okay. Please, let the market
all right, BKO, away from the Dangote issue, I just want your thoughts on this. Yesterday, there was a 1 million barrel per day initiative that was launched by the upstream and midstream sectors, saying that they will 1 million barrel per day. I just want your thoughts on it. How feasible is this, and what are the challenges that needs to be conquered? I just want your thoughts on it, maybe in just 1 minute, before we wrap up the show.
No, quickly, Mr. President knows that we cannot strengthen the Naira unless we earn more dollars. And our biggest earner remains crude oil. So we are not producing enough now because a lot of what we are producing gets stolen. So they must, for us to get to that threshold, because during the Jonathan era, we were actually producing 2.2 million barrels a day. And it's possible. It's possible. We need to defeat oil theft. Then we need to improve capacity. Allow more foreign companies to be able to invest in Nigeria. As we speak now, some of the foreign companies are even leaving. So there's a production shortage that we have to address. We need to encourage more investors to come and invest. Because we are not getting new investors, and that's one of the big problems. So then there are some oil wells that have been lying fallow. We just started them and left them like that. In River State, for example, there are oil wells where we are not producing; they are just there.
Land,
We need to bring in people who will make use of these oil wells, produce from them, so that we can. In fact, I can tell you that we can do 400,000 more.
1.4.
Identify those oil wells where they are, and then get even local players who are interested. You know, but we must defeat oil theft. A lot of what is stolen, I mean, a lot of what we produce is stolen. We have to deal with that problem. If we deal with this problem decisively, we can do more than 1.5, 1.8 million barrels a day. And that will help us. Our currency will become stronger because we will earn a lot more. And it will reflect positively on the economy. Because right now, 1,700 naira to $1 is something that puts me to shame as a Nigerian. It's really embarrassing. So we need greater liquidity, forest liquidity, and that will happen when we sell a lot more.
Thank you very much, as always, BKO, joining us from Abuja. Thank you so much for joining the show. Like I said, I've missed you. I also want to say a big thank you to Adewale Adeoye. Thank you very much for having this conversation with us. And also, Kaidi Ladendi.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And also, thank you to all the great guys on the PCR and the MCR. Thank you very much for making us have a great show. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the